Hey, hello, and welcome back to Mike's Italian Grand Adventure. I'm still hanging out here at my house in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, and really been enjoying the wildlife. I got a couple of videos I'll show you here in a little bit. But I was thinking about a topic for this week, and I realized there's this topic staring me in the face that we've all talked about. Tons of your comments were about it, and that's short-term rentals. So I think a lot of people are thinking, hey, I'll buy a place in Italy, spend part of the time there. When I'm not there, I'll just rent it out and I'll have some money coming in. Well, as with anything, it's not that easy. I mean, there's a lot of ramifications to all of a sudden having an income in Italy. So I did a deep dive on that this week, did a bunch of research. So I'd like to talk about that a little bit. And then also I looked at some properties, and there's one that I'd like to share with you guys as well. So we'll take a peek at that. And then, there's been some great wildlife around here recently, so I'll show you a couple pictures and a couple of videos I took of some wildlife I've had around my house. So let's get started. Welcome back. So short-term rentals. Okay, we're talking about Airbnb, VRBO. There's some other companies I'm sure in Europe that are more specific to Europe or Italy, but those are the big ones. Airbnb obviously is a huge one. That's a monster. But there's some controversy with Airbnb as well. And quite honestly, I had no intention and no desire to rent a place out in Italy. But after doing this research, I'm actually thinking maybe it could work out. There might be a way to do it. So first of all, there's some real drawbacks to it. And one of them is that you're going to have an income in Italy then. So you're going to have to pay taxes. You're going to have to file taxes. So that makes the whole process a lot more complicated. And then if you're not there, you're going to need someone to run it in management. Now, I did find a company that looks pretty interesting, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the other thing is the moral implications of it. Airbnb is causing a lot of problems for communities here in the United States and all around the world, really. And what's happening is people are buying up properties because they can make so much on these short-term rentals. But it's really changing the housing market. So people that live there can't afford to rent a place or buy a place because the property values have been driven up so high. It's also taking a ton of business away from hotels. So I don't know, it's really a tough thing. Quite honestly, I've never liked Airbnb. I don't like using them. I prefer a hotel. Hotels, they know how to do hospitality. I like to ask questions of my host at the hotel. I like to say, hey, do you recommend a restaurant? Is there any good sites we should go see? But Airbnb now, after COVID, a lot of times it's contactless check-in. So there's a box, you type in a code, get your key. You never see anyone, you never talk to them. If you have a problem, there's no one to help you. If you're looking for guidance, there's no one there. So I don't know. I mean, this last trip when I was just in Italy, I must have stayed at 30 different hotels, 30 places at least. And, I stayed at a few agriturismos, but also a bunch of hotels. And I just loved it. It's so much better. The other thing that really rubs me the wrong way with Airbnb are the fees. I mean, it's ridiculous. You spend a $200 fee, and then they still expect you to do chores. Take the sheets off, put them in the washer. No, I don't think so. So I'm a hotel guy. But after doing some research on this, I did see some possible benefits of doing this in a way that kind of makes it more viable, really. So with that said, if you've kind of decided the moral implications and how it's going to affect the community you're in, and affect the established tourism infrastructure like hotels and things like that, and you decide to move forward, there's a few things you want to think about. So one of the big things is you have income. So you're going to have to file income taxes. So there's really two ways to do that in Italy. And one of the things I found out, I was really surprised about, because the stereotype of Italy is tons of bureaucracy and just really slow to make things work and complicated. But I found out that there's actually a system in place that's really, really good. So there's two ways you can pay your taxes on rental property. So one of them would be just pay normal income taxes. So if you do that, there's really two options. If you are just going to declare rental income, and that's the only thing you have, they have something that's called a dry coupon or a dry rent. So basically what that is they have a discounted, or not a discounted rate, but they have a simple flat rate for income generated from rental properties, from short-term rental properties. So it's 21%, but that's it. You don't pay any municipality fees or taxes. It's nothing. You pay this 21% on your income from rental properties, and that's it. Wow. So there's a couple little stipulations, of course. To be able to do this, you can have only up to 4 rental properties, or 4 rooms that you rent, essentially, 4 apartments. And if you have any more than that, then you have to register as a business. Then you have to pay VAT taxes, value-added tax, and it gets a lot more complicated. And then there was a change here in 2024 as well. So you could have up to 4 units and still use this tax. But if you have more than 1 unit, the tax goes up to like 26%, I think. So it's 21% if you just have 1 unit. If you have more than 4 units, then you have to declare as a business. But if you have from 3 to 4 units, then you're paying 26%. And I'm not sure if it's 26 on those 3 and 21 on the first. I think that is the case. But in any event, so the tax changes a little bit, but it's still incredibly convenient. I mean, and you can file your taxes online. I think Airbnb actually has to collect those taxes by law in Italy. So then you just would tell the Italian tax agency that Airbnb already collected these taxes and paid them, so you get a credit towards your tax and it should be taken care of. So, it's kind of a pretty slick system, actually. So that really took out one of the big reasons why I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to deal with that complications. And if you're not a resident, you only pay taxes on income generated in Italy. So you don't have to pay double taxes. So I'm not sure about the U.S. side. Being an American, I know they have a reciprocity agreement for taxation, but I don't know if you'd have to, on your U.S. tax form, show that income you generate in Italy. So that's one more thing I need to look into. But as far as the Italian side, it's kind of pretty straightforward. So not too bad. But if you were to do the other way, instead of using this dry rent, as they call it, you would have to just pay regular income taxes, and those are tiered. So it's something like if you make up to I think 38,000 euros, then you pay 25%, and then it's maybe 28,000 euros up to 50,000 euros, then you pay 35% in tax, and over 50,000 euros, I think you pay 43% in tax. So obviously that flat tax at 21% is looking pretty good. I mean, and that's if all your income is just from the short-term rentals. So there's a couple other things. If you rent longer than 30 days, then you have to declare it as a business. Then you also have to pay a couple of different fees because you have to get the lease stamped by an official and registered, and so there's fees for that. But with the short-term 21% flat fee, you don't pay any of that stuff. No municipality taxes, no contract registration and things like that. So, I mean, wow, that's pretty good. So that was a really surprise to me, actually. The stereotypes of Italy, I was thinking it would be really super complicated, but so that's cool. That's nice. So the other thing that I think was a big drawback is, managing the property. I mean, obviously, if I'm not there, I'm not going to be able to unlock the door or meet someone or do the laundry or, collect payment. And there's a city tax that you have to collect in cash at the end of the stay a lot of times. You have to take a picture of the passport and upload it to a website in Italy. So every night, every place you stay in Italy, they upload photos of your passport, I guess so they can track where you're going, obviously. So That happened to me on my trip every time I stayed at a place. And even if it was contactless check-in, a couple of times I did that. And it wasn't through Airbnb. It just happened to be a place where they had this process set up. I had to text them a picture of my passport. So that's something you'd still have to do. So if you're not there, I mean, there's no way you could possibly run an Airbnb or a short-term rental. So I found this company in Italy called CleanBnB. I think their website's cleanbnb.net, and they're kind of all over Italy. They did have an office in Asti, which is kind of near the region where I've been looking. And it'd be interesting to see if they serve some of the smaller hill towns around there. I did send them an email, reach out to them to see if they did. So that would be a little bit interesting piece of information to have for sure. But they're in all the big cities. I mean, the list of cities they were in was huge. So it seemed like a pretty good company. And the services they offer are incredible. First of all, they only take a percentage, and I don't know what that percentage is yet. I'm waiting to hear back, but they only take a percentage if it's rented. So if your place is sitting there for 2 weeks and no one rents it, you're not paying a fee. You only pay a fee when it's rented. So that's pretty cool. And they take care of like everything. They take care of like documents, registering it with the government because you need to get an ID for short-term rentals even, of course. So there is more bureaucracy than just that flat fee. But also, they will take care of the pricing. They'll do research and find out what's the best price to put for your place. They also look at, what was it? They also do the greeting. So when someone comes, there'll be someone there to let them in, give them the keys, greet them. They also do the cleaning and, changing the sheets on the bed and linens and things like that. It also included insurance. So of liability insurance, things like that. I mean, here's the whole list. I'll put the list up on the screen. And it's incredible. So, I mean, for them to provide that much service, I'm guessing the fee is going to be huge, right? I mean, so you think about it, you're already paying 21% in tax on your income. So then these guys are going to charge probably a pretty big fee to manage all this stuff. I don't know, we'll see. But so probably, let's just say right out of the gate, you're losing 40 to 50% of what's coming in. But if those guys take care of everything and it's just sitting there empty anyway, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like free money, right? So, I mean, it seems like a great idea. And it seems like if that works, it could be a very good solution. But once again, we'll see in the details and see exactly what happens. So, yeah, interesting, sure, and it makes it look like it could be a viable option. Earlier on also, I just wanted to talk about how I kind of said there are some moral implications to doing short-term rentals. And I think I also want to talk about, some of the benefits to the community because you are supporting a local community. And in some of these small hill towns, like where I've been looking, there aren't a lot of hotels. I mean, they have like bed and breakfasts or agriturismos that are around there. But, maybe offering some accommodation would really help the town out, help the restaurants and the stores and the people there that are doing a tourism industry. So that's I think, helpful as well. Another thing, I kind of forgot of this earlier, but so we were talking about the difference between just being able to say it's a short-term rental business and having to actually register it as a business. So not only if you had more than 4 units was it considered a business, but also if you offered any services other than just a night to stay with internet and clean sheets. Literally, those were like the 3 things. If you offered anything like a breakfast or guided services or tours or anything else, then it was not considered a short-term rental. It was considered like a bed and breakfast. So then you had to register it as a business and you're not allowed to use that flat 21% tax. So I thought that was really interesting. I had no idea that there was that kind of delineating line where it's like, okay, this is your short-term rental. Now all of a sudden it's a business and breakfast even. So yeah, that's interesting for sure. So yeah, so those were some of the big things that I found out when I was doing the research, and it really makes it look like it could be a more viable option. All right, so now we've covered some of the, the more dry content. And when I told my mom what this week's episode was on, she was like, "Oh, that's not going to be fun. I'm not going to be interested in that." So anyway, so now I wanted to talk a little bit about the wildlife I've seen around here recently. And when I first came back, I was pretty quiet. I didn't see a lot, but we have quite a few birds around here. I think I have 8 or 9 species of birds every morning pretty much. And I really love the hummingbirds. So I was hand feeding the hummingbirds yesterday. So take a look at this video. It's incredible. So it's in slow motion. I've sent this to a few friends and everyone was like, "Is that real? It looks fake. It looks fake." But the colors are so vivid, and then it's in slow motion a little bit too. So it looks pretty incredible. But so that's been pretty fun. And then this morning I was sitting on the computer and all of a sudden I hear someone walking out by my back door. I look and there's this big, huge buck. So here's the guy. This buck happens to be named Carl, because he comes around, and in his right ear he's got a big notch, so I can recognize him. It's really obvious. But he was hanging out here last year and then the year before as well. So Carl with the big notch in his ear, I can recognize him, and he's pretty comfortable around my house. So he comes, hangs out, and looks in the windows, and he's pretty funny. But he's got a pretty good rack already. He's been growing pretty quickly, and you can see all the felt on the rack still. So yeah, there were two big bucks, and then a little buck came down from the hill a little bit later, and then they got spooked and ran off. But it's been fun to have them around. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was I've been looking at some properties as well, because I'm kind of in limbo trying to decide what to do with that other property. And so I thought, well, why not look around some more? So I found one that was kind of interesting. So let's jump on the computer and I'll show you that one real quick to wrap up today's episode. Okay, welcome into my office. It's been a while since we've done one of these screen shares, but I did want to show you guys a property that I found that I was pretty interested in. So let's take a look at it over here. So this is it, this pink building here. You can see it's kind of small. It's like, I think it was like 68 square meters. So I don't know, 750 square feet maybe. And it's pretty simple. It's just kind of 2 down, 2 up. So on the main floor, it's got 2 rooms and then a staircase you can see in the back of the picture going up, and then 2 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs. So this is like a kitchen and then a living room, and pretty straightforward. Over here to the right, you can see a staircase going down. It mentioned that there's a cellar, but they didn't have any photos of it. So I'm not sure what it looks like. I think it says something like that it's a pretty nice cellar. So one of the things I liked about this place too, though, let's look at this. So here's the building back here, the pink building. And it looks nicely redone. Looks like it's in great shape, but it's got this big, I think they call it like a rustic or rustico or something, but there's an old barn right in front of it. And on the other side, there's a garage door, swing out garage door. So there's a garage, and then this upper loft area could be made into a really cool like apartment or office or something. I think it'd be really, really cool. Put a mini split on there for heating and cooling, and having some extra space. So, and we're talking about renting like a rental, short-term rental. I mean, if it's a viable option, that place is pretty cool. So yeah, let's just go back here. So let's go inside. So this is, as you're looking at the bottom right-hand side, that picture was taken from out here. So this was obviously the kitchen. They had like a backsplash and hot and cold water lines, and a drain line here for the sink. Have a refrigerator here, and then, a little dining area or something. Pretty decent sized space, and just another shot of that. And then this is the back of that room. So here's that wall again with the water lines, and here's a staircase going upstairs. And I think this is just a closet. Maybe you put laundry in there. That would be pretty cool. And then this is the other side on the ground floor. So this would be like a living room. I mean, pretty decent size, and just goes right outside. Everything looks pretty new. The walls look great. I mean, no cracks. I think this has been redone recently. So, and then upstairs, this is one of the bedrooms. I mean, look at those nice windows for airflow, lots of light, new windows, really nice ones. And then I think this is looking back the other way. So they have some built-in shelving here, I guess, limited shelving. And then this must be the other side that has this balcony and another window too. So, I mean, maybe this is the main bedroom. That's a guest bedroom. And then there's this bathroom, which I think is on that same floor too. So, pretty straightforward, toilet, bidet, 2 sinks, nice big shower, it looks like, which I like because those little tiny showers are kind of pretty hard to use for me. So yeah, I don't know. This place looks pretty cool. So here's the look of the kind of barn on the other side. So big doors here. They got a new door here for some light, and looks like a big space. Yeah, so let's see here. I thought they had another photo of the inside. No, they didn't. So yeah, I mean, not too bad. So 45,000 euros. And again, you know, obviously prices are negotiable. So I don't know. And 68 square meters. So yeah, parking included, obviously 4 rooms. I think it's a pretty cool place. If you could get that for 30,000 euros or something, 35, I think that could be a pretty good option. So there's still stuff out there. And this is like, you know, a nice smaller size, really easy to take care of. That courtyard is all brick, so there's no maintenance. Look at that. So that's really nice. No lawn to mow really. And it looks like it's got a private gate here to get in to this area. So I don't know. I like it. Tell me what you guys think about it. And also let me know what you think about, you know, the discussion about short-term rentals and the information I found out about that. Because actually I was super surprised, if you couldn't tell. I was quite shocked that it seems like it might be something that's doable, that something that I didn't think was going to be possible, or easy at least. So anyway, thanks again for following this week. If you haven't subscribed, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take a look at my past videos. This is the 21st video I've put out. So I've got, they're average about 20 minutes. So I've got 400 minutes of content. It's incredible. It's hard to believe. And I've been doing it every Friday. So, you know, over 4 months I've been doing this now, and we're getting close. I think there's going to be something happening sometime soon here. I hope so. So, and then of course I'm going back to Italy. I'll be back in Italy in 4 weeks, 5 weeks from today. So there'll be some more content coming straight from Italy. So thanks you guys, and we'll see you next week.